But honestly, that's been one of the most surprising things for me about my health and fitness journey is It is time for a physique update. I don't know what happened this week, but something just clicked into place, and I have a hypothesis. For women, hormone fluctuations can impact how much water you're retaining and how heavy you are on the scale and things like that. So I think this week I just got lucky with my hormones. In my experience and my research, weight loss is not linear. So there have been times in my weight loss journey where I've stayed at the same weight for 2 weeks and then suddenly dropped a few pounds out of nowhere. This week, I feel like I made a lot of progress, and I'm really excited to update you. So this is where we're at currently. I did already have breakfast, so I'm not quite as flat as I would be if I had done this first thing in the morning, but that's totally fine. I am incredibly snappy. We've all been hangry before, right? If you're really hungry, sometimes you can just feel like you're in a bad mood. I feel like I have a low level of that all the time at this point. This morning, I was just being so annoying and snapping at my boyfriend over something that literally didn't matter at all. That's just been kind of a part of fat loss for me. I just feel lower energy. I have a shorter temper. I have way less patience. I find when little things go wrong, they annoy me so much more right now than normal. And I just keep reminding myself this is not forever. Very soon I'm going to be going into maintenance and I'll be able to feel a lot better. I always try and remind myself too that I can take a break whenever I need it and go into maintenance for a few weeks or even months and then get back into a fat loss phase if I'd like to. But for me right now, I just feel like I want to finish this out and then go into a long maintenance phase. I'm just going with the flow, trying to have a good attitude. But yeah, I feel like the hunger is getting to me a little bit. I normally do intermittent fasting a little bit and try to wait until 12 or 1 p.m. to have my first meal, but this morning I was starving. So I did have this peanut butter smoothie bowl right after the gym and it was delicious. My boyfriend and I are going to head to our favorite coffee shop and just have a little working session, get a coffee. It's going to be great. And I'm going to try and check my attitude a little bit, honestly. I'm really doing my best, but just to be completely honest, I am feeling it. And I think that's really normal. put something dumb into a bag.
I wouldn't put that in my bag.
I know. I'm stupid. Okay, hi. It has been way too long since we've caught up. We went to the coffee shop this morning and I just worked on editing a little bit, and I had my favorite coffee from there. It's an ice white mocha. It is so delicious. It's seriously my favorite coffee I've ever had from like any coffee shop. It is insanely good. And then we went to Costco and Target and just picked up a few random things. We always end up getting way more at Costco than we planned to, but I actually stayed on track pretty well at Target, surprisingly. Came home, put everything away, and then started making some sourdough. I've been growing my sourdough starter all week and like feeding it every day. I'm a little nervous to see how this turns out. I've never made sourdough before, but hopefully it ends up tasting okay. We already made some mistakes, like we mixed in the water at the wrong time, so. This is very dry. Are we gonna add something to it? This is not all we do, right? It's dry as Since I was running around all afternoon and I was really busy and distracted, I haven't been tracking as closely as I normally would. I'm now going to be above my calories for the day, including my dessert, which my dessert is actually an important part of hitting my protein goal. So I do like have to have it. It's essentially a protein shake that I freeze in the Ninja Creamy. So I'm going to try not to go over by too much, but such is life. This kind of thing happens. The way I'm trying to think about this is really with a long-term focus and lens, and thinking about how can I make this sustainable, because if you've ever been in a fat loss phase, then you probably understand that you can start to feel like you're losing your mind a little bit after a while. I know I'm definitely getting to that point. I started my fat loss journey almost 15 months ago now. For the first 6 or so months, I was kind of on and off. I was still getting into the groove of things. I was losing a little bit of weight, but not super consistent with it. I wasn't tracking yet. I wasn't really following any type of diet. I was just trying to exercise more and eat healthier. Whereas around January 1st of this year, 2024, is when I got really serious about it, and I did a lot of calculations. I created a calorie goal. I started tracking everything I was eating. I started being more serious about my protein goals and my exercise and everything. So I've been doing this a long time. So I was chatting with some people the other day about starting a fat loss phase and starting weight loss and tracking and all of that, and just remembering how difficult it is to start and how uncomfortable it is. I think fat loss is difficult the entire time, but starting out, it is very hard. If you are feeling like you're going a little bit crazy, you are not alone. I think it's important, of course, to make sure that you have a reasonable deficit calculated, something that you can really feel like you're pushing yourself, but not going insane, because obviously we want it to be sustainable and something that you can stick to and actually get the results that you want from. Even if you're in a perfect deficit and doing everything right, it's still really difficult to do and really mentally fatiguing. Some days are harder than others, but I found the first like couple of weeks, maybe even a few months, I found it very hard to do. And now I've sort of gotten into the groove of things. And although it is still mentally challenging, and obviously it sucks to feel hungry and decide not to go eat something, but I just think we've created a little bit of an unrealistic expectation online about what fat loss should be like, and that if you are feeling hungry, if you are feeling unsatisfied, it's because you're not doing it right. You're not eating the right foods, because if you were eating a lot of protein and fiber and staying hydrated and doing all these things, then you wouldn't feel hungry. And I am doing all of the right things and I still feel hungry sometimes, like especially at night. I go to bed a little bit hungry almost every night. I honestly just think that's a part of it. I'm gonna go check on my sourdough. I think I need to do a stretch and fold, so I will catch up with you later. I'm so excited.
Look at that.
So I should like leave some space, yeah.
Dude, that's good.
Is it? So it's the next day. Yesterday was super busy and I didn't do the best job of vlogging. I'm not totally sure why, but yesterday I was just feeling really overwhelmed and stressed for basically no reason because there wasn't that much going on. Like I had a busy day, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Anyway, I wasn't sure what to talk about. I didn't want to just get on camera and complain the entire time. Like I think I've made it clear by this point that fat loss is difficult. Being in a calorie deficit is difficult. Like I don't want to beat a dead horse on that, but I wanted to catch up a little bit more today. It's all well and good to like show you what I'm eating and my grocery shopping and my workouts and all of that, but I promised I would bring you along for the reality of this process. So let's get into that. I feel like I often fall into this trap of I will be happy when blank. As a caveat, there are of course certain things that do really materially improve our quality of life, and that's different. I'm talking about more material things, smaller goals, things that don't end up making me happier. Like for a while, it was quitting my job to pursue YouTube. I thought I would finally be happy when I left my job to start working on YouTube full time. But as soon as I left my job, I realized I needed to make money, and suddenly my next milestone was, oh, now I need to be earning a full-time living from YouTube to be happy. So like instantly the goalpost moved. This is a concept often referred to as hedonic adaptation. This essentially means that when something positive or negative happens to us, we will eventually return to a relatively stable baseline of happiness. So for example, when we get a new car, we're usually super happy and excited and really appreciate it at the start, but eventually we will start to get used to it. So now I find myself at my next goal, which is trying to get visible abs. And I've managed to convince myself that this goal is different than every other goal I've had in my life, which is so classic. I've kept telling myself that being in really amazing shape, getting super fit, getting visible abs is something I've wanted for like 10 years. That's why it's finally the thing that's gonna really make me happy. I'm only on week 2 of this 8-week challenge, but it's honestly starting to feel a little bit empty to me. This is gonna sound stupid, but I'm just being honest. When I look at myself in the mirror now, I do feel a little bit excited and surprised at what I see because I look very different than I did even a few months ago. But that feeling only lasts a few seconds. And the more I see photos and videos of myself, which I see a lot since I do content creation, and the more I look at myself in the mirror, the less excited and interested I feel about the way I look. The other day, I tried on a pair of jeans that I had from college that were in my closet in a pile of clothes that I had been meaning to sell or donate for so long. I was cleaning out my closet and I stumbled upon them. And I looked at them and I was like, you know, these might actually fit me now. I've lost a lot of weight. I'm pretty close to the weight I was in college. Let me try them on because I've been needing a new pair of jeans since my pairs from the last few years are too big on me now. I tried them on and they fit perfectly. At first I was excited because I was like, this is sweet. I don't need to buy a new pair of jeans now because jeans are expensive. And then I was feeling proud of myself for getting to this point and losing that weight and really pushing myself. But those feelings quickly faded. Very soon after I tried them on, I didn't really care anymore. I think in many ways this is good. I can think back on times in my life where I was really obsessed with how I looked and it kind of took over my life. So honestly, I'm really glad that I'm at a point in my life now where I can have a physique goal that's not all consuming and taking over my life. But that was also honestly a little bit scary for me because I started wondering what this all has been for if I feel like I don't actually care that much about what I look like. I definitely don't have all the answers here, but I have been thinking about this a lot and this is what I've come to. I think sometimes we need to just get out there and do that thing that's been on our mind for so long and prove to ourselves that we can do it before we can really let go of it. Whether it's getting visible abs, running a marathon, like whatever the goal or achievement or thing is, maybe you realize along the way that getting visible abs wasn't everything that it was cracked up to be and that it actually is a really terrible experience. And once you've done it, you can let go of it and move on. Or maybe you run a marathon and realize that even though you can do it, you actually still hate running and don't want to do it anymore. I honestly feel like we owe it to ourselves to push ourselves to achieve these goals, to push our boundaries, to experiment, whether that's with health and fitness, relationships, career, like anything really. Putting ourselves out there and being vulnerable to failure or disappointment. I feel like that's what this is all about, honestly. I'm laughing because it's ridiculous how I've managed to take something as superficial as getting visible abs and like having a physique goal and turned it into this whole thing about becoming the person you want to be in your life. But honestly, that's been one of the most surprising things for me about my health and fitness journey is I first got into it because I wanted to look a certain way. And along the way, I feel like it's really made me who I am. And I used to hear people say stuff like that and be like, that's ridiculous. Does looking shredded really change who you are as a person? No, but focusing on my health and fitness over these last few years has transformed my confidence, my discipline, my belief in myself, and my ability to do hard things every single day, commit to something difficult and follow through. So whatever your fitness goal is, whether it's your physique, whether it's performance-based, or even if it's just taking small steps to try and improve your health, I really don't think it's about the goal. I think it's about the person that you become along the way. So when things are hard in these next few weeks of this challenge, because I'm definitely going to continue the challenge, that's what I'm going to try and remind myself of. I'm not doing this to look good in a swimsuit because trust me, if that was the only reason, I would not have the motivation to keep pushing through. I'm doing this because I committed to it. I've wondered for the last 10 years what this would be like, what it would take, what it would feel like, and I'm going to answer that question for myself. I owe it to myself to get it done. And I also made a commitment to you all watching that I'm going to follow through on. I'm going to remind myself it's about the person I become during these next 6 weeks not about the way I look at the end of it. I just wanted to say thank you for leaving such beautiful comments. I love chatting with you all and hearing about your experiences and your health and fitness journey. So if you want to chat, leave me a comment, come say hi. Thanks so much for joining me for episode 2 of this series. I'm so excited to continue it over these next 6 weeks and share everything I'm learning along the way, the ups and downs, the realities of it. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure to subscribe. I upload new videos every 3 days, and I will see you next time.